I don't know Putin. I have no idea. I never met Putin.
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, a conversational relationship, or anything that you feel you have sway or influence over his government?
I do have a relationship. I never met Putin. I don't know who Putin is. I was in Russia. I was in Moscow recently, and I spoke indirectly and directly with President Putin, who could not have been nicer. What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him.
You did say on 3 different occasions you had a relationship with him. Now you say there is none.
Putin even sent me a present, beautiful present, with a beautiful note. I spoke to all of his people. I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him.
You would know it if you did, wouldn't you?
I think so, yeah, I think so. So I don't think I've ever met him. I mean, if he's in the same room or something, but I don't think so.
Never spoken to him on the phone?
I've been in Moscow. I didn't meet him in Moscow. Where?
Never spoken to him on the phone?
I have never spoken to him on the phone, no. I was in Russia. I was in Moscow recently, and I spoke indirectly and directly with President Putin, who could not have been nicer.
Trump saying, no, nobody's talked to Russians, and at one point even saying if Michael Cohen ever talked to Russians, I would have fired him. Right. And we find out that Michael Cohen's trying to do a deal to build Trump Tower in Moscow. Mike Pence, time and time again, saying, oh, no, we didn't talk to Russians. We talked to the American people. Oh, no, we never talked to WikiLeaks. I mean, you go back, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we go back to the way back machine and listen to Mike Pence earlier talking about WikiLeaks.
Some have suggested on the left that all this bad stuff about Hillary, nothing bad about Trump, that your campaign is in cahoots with WikiLeaks.
Nothing could be further from the truth. I think all of us have, have had concerns about WikiLeaks over the years.
Now, this just came out. WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Well, except the truth. Except the truth. Same thing again about, again, even contacts with Russians. You go back to the time they were making those denials in the middle of the campaign. And like, we would even press campaign staffers privately. What is going on with Russia?
Yeah, we don't get it.
We don't get it. What's going? Oh, nothing. Oh, absolutely. Come on now, Joe, Mika. I mean, it keeps the well continues to grow, does it not?
No, it does, Joe, and that's the problem. I still believe that at the core of this is the essential relationship between Donald Trump and business interest in Russia. That is the first jump-off point. I believe it always has been. I think it's something that has lit a fire within the Mueller investigation.
Steve Schmidt, I want to go back to the point you made at the very top of this block. But first showing you the other instances, just a few of the other instances where Mike Pence was verifiably wrong. Take a look.
General Flynn's son has no involvement in the transition whatsoever.
He has a transition email.
Well, General, he has no involvement in the transition whatsoever.
Was there any contact in any way between Trump or his associates and the Kremlin or cutouts they have?
I joined this campaign in the summer, and I can tell you that all the contact by the Trump campaign and associates was with the American people.
But did the president fire Director Comey to impede the Russia investigation?
Well, as you know very clearly, as has been stated repeatedly and the president has been told.
On a very broad range of topics. Thank you.
Does the Comey firing cast a shadow over your talks, gentlemen?
Was he fired?
The U.S. report
yes. You are kidding. You are kidding.
What about the Russian What about the Russian investigation?
Thank you.
Does the Comey firing cast a shadow over your talks?
When I decided to just do it, I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story.
He's not under investigation.
But intelligence officials have said there's investigation into potential ties between campaign officials and Russian officials.
That's not what this was about.
The
a story today that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has filed with the Department of Justice as a foreign agent. Well, let me say, hearing that story today was the first I heard of it. You're disappointed by the story. The first I heard of it.
Okay, so Steve Schmidt, your point about the presidential families that you named, where if sons or daughters were approached by a foreign entity, they would immediately call the FBI, and it would be un-American to do anything else. At one point, is it un-American when you're asked questions and question and question about something obviously curious that's going on that pertains to Russian meddling, and you are willfully clueless?
We don't talk enough about Mike Pence. You know, for example, we have in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands right now, we have American citizens suffering. We have an alleged kidnap plot involving the former National Security Advisor to kidnap from the United States and smuggle onto a private plane from Turkey. We have a pedophile candidate in the Alabama race. We have the Justice Department seemingly on the edge of prosecuting Donald Trump's political opponent, another giant leap towards banana republicanism in this country. But we don't talk enough about the vice president's nonstop lying also.
Yeah, because being willfully stupid and not asking questions, why wouldn't you, let's say you get asked
clean it up.
One of those questions, on one of those instances, wouldn't you pick up the phone and say what's going on? Wouldn't you care as an American who loves this country?
Absolutely.
Say, is this happening?
Absolutely, and I think that over these months the vice president's exposed himself as a titanic fraud. He can find, you know, when it comes to consensual relationships between gay Americans, you know, he's never tongue-tied on that. We don't hear from him on Roy Moore. We don't hear from him on this.
But gosh darn it, he just doesn't know.
And the truth of the matter is, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, 100% of the time, 100% of the people around this administration, when asked a question about Russia, the Russian involvement in this election, they lie about it. Not 99% of the time, not 99.9% of the time, 100% of the time.
And here is the biggest danger that you just outlined, that Julia Yoffe's story helps outline. It is this. The average American out there today, their eyes are glazing over with this tsunami, this everyday tsunami of rituals out of politics, of the pedophile running in Alabama, of Wikileaks, a sworn enemy of the United States, Julian Assange, a sworn enemy of the United States, the collusion with the Trump campaign for the presidency, the Justice Department being perverted. Every day there's something new. And every day someone in our business, the media, will write about this is the new normal that we have to deal with. This is not normal. This is not normal. And this is not what the United States is all about.
I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I don't think I've ever met him.
You would know it if you did, wouldn't you?
I think so, yeah, I think so. So I don't think I've ever met him. I mean, if he's in the same room or something, but I don't think so.
Never spoken to him on the phone?
I've been in Moscow. I didn't meet him in Moscow. Where?
Never spoken to him on the phone?
I have never spoken to him on the phone, no. I was in Russia. I was in Moscow recently, and I spoke indirectly and directly with President Putin, who could not have been nicer.